Back in February, just before my birthday, I had an idea because my sister, who's gluten sensitive, probably hasn't had a real birthday cake in years, just gluten-free pastries. So, I decided to go all out this year and order her a special cake from a local gluten-free baker I'd seen posting in a Facebook group. Her cakes always looked amazing, and I thought this would be a perfect treat. Since it was February and the cake wouldn't be needed until May, I figured it would give her plenty of time to let me know if she couldn't do it. I spent over $100 on the cake, with charges for a fresh fruit compote and edible glitter. The design I asked for was a vintage heart cake in pastel orange, classic, with hand-piped lettering, glitter beneath the letters, and arches of frosting. I sent Emma, not real name, 3 photos as references. She seemed excited and assured me she could make it happen. Cut to May, 11 p.m. the night before I was supposed to pick up the cake, I get an email from Emma. She had frosted the cake in the wrong color. She offered a partial refund but didn't send any photos of how the cake looked. I thanked her for the offer but politely mentioned I was a little disappointed it wasn't the orange I had ordered. She then offered to re-ice the cake entirely, which I appreciated. The next day, I rushed home from work while my mom picked up the cake. When I opened the box, my heart sank. The cake was completely different from what I'd ordered. It was wide, flat, and possibly only one layer, nowhere near the height I requested. The color was a pinkish orange, but it didn't have the edible glitter I'd paid for. It was clearly a home baker situation and not the professional style I'd be told she could do, no hate. I'm a home baker too. I was still holding out hope that maybe the taste would make up for the visual disappointment, so I decided to wait until we tried it. But when we did, the cake was incredibly dry, maybe overbaked, and instead of the promised fresh fruit compote, it had frozen berries. So, I emailed Emma, attaching photos comparing the cake I received with the one I had requested. I told her I wasn't asking for a refund but wished she had let me know earlier that she couldn't make the cake I'd asked for so I could have found another baker. Since I didn't hear back from her and I wanted to leave an honest review, I wrote, "The cake was dry and didn't match the design I requested," explained what was wrong, but it was still good. I wish the business all the best. That's when things took a turn. Emma replied to my review, and I honestly felt my stomach drop. She accused me of altering the photos and said I shouldn't have left a review at all. I'm not a photographer, I'm an accountant, and I didn't alter anything, I don't even know how. I thought my review was quite mild, considering the situation, but now I'm wondering, did I overstep? So, am I the asshole for leaving this review? First comment. If that was your review, it wasn't cruel. It didn't bash. It just pointed out a problem with a mismatch between what you requested and what you received. That sort of review is helpful. Emma could have replied with an apology for the disappointment, a discount for another cake, or just ignored your review. Instead, she lashes out. This is not your problem. Ignore her. I will note that gluten-free options are always going to be different than products containing gluten. If it were the dryness alone, I wouldn't have left a negative review for a small business. Unfortunately, it sounds like Emma may have agreed to make a cake that she couldn't actually produce given the constraints of the materials. She could have communicated this to you. The cake you want is lovely, but won't come out right using gluten-free options. How about XYZ instead? Second comment. I have to disagree a bit. OP is definitely NTA, but the baker doesn't really get a pass either. My sister is a professional baker and has been working on gluten-free items for years. There is no reason for a good gluten-free cake to be noticeably different from a regular cake these days. Especially from a baker that is apparently advertising themselves as gluten-free. Emma should have immediately communicated that OP's cake was out of range of her skills. Because it wasn't only taste. She also missed the requested color, glitter, fruit, and composition of the cake. Third comment. NTA. You said you sent her example photos? There's no way I'd let her response stand. Push back and reply to her response. I have text/email/messenger proof of the photos I sent you to prove what I originally asked for back in February. If this ask was not something you could provide, you should have declined the job. So many people have started side hustles like this, no matter how underqualified they are. It's not okay to charge that much for such a subpar job when there's actual skilled bakers out there who could have done what you asked. Fourth comment. I agree. And remember that when you are leaving a review, you are providing your experience so that others can determine if she is the right baker for them. Someone else who is also needing a gluten-free cake should absolutely know if it didn't taste good. Someone who is paying $100 for a custom cake should absolutely know that she is not able to decorate to a professional level and that she uses shortcuts on her ingredients, frozen versus fresh fruit, doesn't use the edible glitter you paid for. You perhaps weren't honest or blunt enough in your review.